2 games, 2 draws, and for Belgium, the biggest concern is no longer where this team can go in the tournament. It's whether they still know who they are. Because this 0-0 against Iran was supposed to be the game where Belgium took control, imposed their quality, and gave the rest of the tournament a reminder of their level. Instead, they walked off with another stalemate, and maybe even more worrying than the result itself was the feeling the match left behind. Belgium had possession, Belgium had territory, but Belgium never truly looked convincing. And when a team has the ball without creating real uncertainty, that control starts to feel empty. That is why this mattered. Coming into this match, Belgium already needed a response after drawing their opening game. Not panic, not drama, but a response. Something that showed there was still a clear idea, still a clear direction, still a version of Belgium that opponents genuinely fear. What they produced instead was another performance that raised the same questions. The talent is still there, the experience is still there, the goalkeeper is still elite, but the fluency, the sharpness, the attacking edge, none of it looked fully alive, and Iran deserve real credit for making sure of that. From the start, their plan was obvious and intelligent. Stay compact, stay disciplined, deny central spaces, and wait for moments to punish mistakes. It was a clear tournament strategy, and more importantly, they executed it well. Belgium were allowed to circulate the ball, but almost always in areas Iran could live with. The deeper the game went, the more settled Iran became. And that should worry Belgium, because once an underdog starts growing into a match like this, the emotional pressure flips. The favorite is the one carrying the burden, and Belgium never looked comfortable with that burden. That is really how the match unfolded. Belgium controlled larger spells of possession, but the control rarely turned into danger. They could move the ball through midfield. They could reach advanced areas, but once they got near the box, the rhythm dropped. The movement became easier to read. The passing lacked surprise. Attacking runs arrived late rather than early. Iran were not being dragged out of shape often enough, and when a defensive block can hold its line without being forced into emergency decisions, it becomes much easier to defend for 90 minutes. This is where the tactical problem becomes bigger than one result. Belgium's issue is not that they cannot keep the ball, it's that they are not using the ball to destabilize opponents. Elite international sides don't just dominate possession, they create doubt. They stretch defenders. They force hesitation. They make backlines turn toward their own goal. Belgium, in this game, mostly played in front of Iran rather than through them or beyond them. And when that happens, even technically strong possession can become predictable. That is why the absence of Jeremy Doku felt so important, because what Doku offers is not just another body in attack. He offers unpredictability. He forces defenders to react instead of settle. He widens a block, opens central spaces, and changes the emotional tone of defending. Without that directness, Belgium were easier to organize against. Too many of their attacks developed in front of Iran's shape, not behind it, and that made Iran's job far more manageable. At this level, if you are not threatening depth or 1v1 situations in wide areas, compact teams can become very comfortable. Then there is the Lukaku question, and it's a fair one, but it also needs to be framed properly. Yes, much of the conversation will go toward Romelu Lukaku, but this cannot be reduced to one striker failing to deliver. He came into the tournament after an extremely disrupted period, with limited playing time, fitness concerns, and a lack of match rhythm. For a striker, sharpness is built on repetition, minutes, touches, timing, confidence. Those things are hard to manufacture in the middle of a major tournament. Against Iran, the issue was not just that he did not score, it was that he never looked fully connected to the attacking patterns around him. But even that points back to the larger team problem. Belgium struggled to provide consistent service into dangerous areas, and when a national team becomes overly dependent on one striker to solve its attacking problems, opponents know exactly where to concentrate their attention. That makes the team easier to defend against, easier to plan for, and easier to frustrate. So yes, Lukaku's situation matters, but it matters most because it exposes how much Belgium are relying on him to restore an attack that currently lacks variety. And while Belgium searched for solutions, Iran showed that they were not just there to absorb pressure. That part of the performance should not be dismissed. Iran were organized, their work rate stayed high, and crucially, they carried real belief. They were not simply surviving. They created moments, they threatened in transition, and they gave Belgium genuine warnings. The disallowed goal, even though it was ruled out for marginal offside, was a major signal. It showed Belgium's defense could still be exposed. Then there was the save from Thibaut Courtois, a save that preserved the draw and prevented the evening from becoming far more damaging for Belgium. Those were not random incidents, they were match-defining moments, because every one of them shifted the emotional balance of the game. Iran's disallowed goal gave them more confidence. Courtois' intervention reminded Belgium how close they were to a disastrous result. And then, in the final stages, Belgium could not raise the tempo enough to break the pattern. That may have been the most telling part of all. When the game demanded urgency, speed, and a change of rhythm, Belgium stayed too flat. Iran maintained their structure, maintained their confidence, and embraced the pressure. Belgium, by contrast, seemed to feel the weight of it, and if you want the clearest evidence of the night, start with the scoreline and then look beyond it. Belgium had more of the ball, but possession without penetration told the story. Iran had a goal ruled out. Iran forced a crucial save from Courtois. Belgium reached advanced areas, but rarely transformed those situations into sustained danger. The numbers that matter here are not flashy attacking totals or dramatic scoring output. The real evidence is in the pattern: back-to-back draws, not enough open play threat, and a team that can control matches without actually commanding them. So what does this mean now? First, Belgium's qualification hopes are still alive. That part is important. This was not a collapse. It was not elimination, but tournament football is heavily influenced by momentum. And right now, Belgium do not have much of it. More than that, every opponent watching this performance will believe they have a chance. And that changes everything, because once the aura of a favorite starts to fade, matches become psychologically different before they even begin. The encouraging part, if you are looking for one, is that the problems appear tactical and psychological more than technical. The talent has not disappeared, but the team needs adjustments, and it needs them quickly. More vertical passing, faster attacking transitions, better movement around the striker, more creativity in wide areas, better chance creation from open play. Those are not minor refinements anymore, they are urgent requirements, because what we learned from this match is that Belgium can still control the surface of a game without controlling the outcome of it. And in tournament football, that is a dangerous illusion. Final verdict: this was not a disaster, but it was absolutely a warning. Back-to-back draws now look like a pattern, not an accident. Iran showed discipline, resilience, and belief. And on the balance of the biggest moments, they came very close to taking all 3 points. Belgium showed possession, but not enough purpose. They showed quality, but not enough spark. They showed structure, but not enough menace. And unless that changes soon, Belgium's biggest challenge will not be beating the strongest teams in the tournament, it will be proving they still belong among them.